Call me crazy, but I also think Martinelli and Trossard's levels would go up with a proper 9 and another creative player with them.
Let's not do this, yeah? This is not a crash. We need to win stuff.
I want next season, especially after what they did in January, they must build something scary up front.
No striker worth his salt, especially with the World Cup year, which we'll be into next year, is going to want to come to Arsenal and be on the bench.
Name me another club that you've seen start at left back and have 3 left backs on the bench.
I get it. We've overdone.
That's dead. Like what?
We've overdone.
How about we have 3 strikers on the bench? Give me that.
We're absolutely crying out for a striker. In fact, I would go further than that. I would say we were crying out for a striker even before this season.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people say about this super creative player. Who's got that now? Even in the Premier League, when I look around it, who's got that super creative player?
Welcome to part 2. I'm here with Turkish, Laurie and Robbie, and this time we want to talk about Berta. Now, if you saw the first episode of this, we're discussing Real Madrid, how we could beat them. One of the things we said we lacked was firepower, players that could win that game, players that could do something and nothing. How do we hurt Real Madrid, we kept asking. Well, Arteta's going to have to try and address that somehow now with the players he's got, but in the summer, with Andrea Berta, hopefully they can do more from a player recruitment perspective. And in this video, we want to look at not only potential players in terms of names we want to look at, but we want to look at the positions, the priorities, and basically say to Berta, here's your to-do list come the summer from a signings perspective. What we'll do is go round, because this is all a bit of thought, guys. The positions you think Arsenal need to sign in, but I want you to rank them too in priority. Who wants to go first? Who thinks they've got them off the top of their head ready to go?
Yeah,
I'll go first.
Yeah, whatever. Go on,
Yeah, go on, Laurie.
Let's go with age. Right, so for me, the obvious priority is a striker.
Cool.
I mean, if you look at Arsenal this season, we're absolutely crying out for a striker. In fact, I would go further than that. I would say we were crying out for a striker even before this season. But with the injuries and everything else that's happened, I mean, you've only got to look at the table to tell you where the woes lie. If you look at Arsenal's table, we're in second place, comfortably behind Liverpool. If you look at the results, we've drawn 10 games. A lot of those games, we've created by far the most chances in the game against our opponents, not being able to convert it. So we've dropped 2 points effectively in a lot of those games. The striker would be the crucial difference, I would argue, in a lot of those games. I know it sounds easy to say, but if we bring in a type of striker that can get us the goals, I reckon that next season we'll be there or thereabouts.
Okay, what's your next priority?
I would build a team around the striker, so I guess the forward line would have to be addressed. We need to bring in some wingers.
So winger, 1 or 2?
Oh, I think 1 will do. I think we've seen the emergence of Ethan Nwaneri this season. I'm really excited about. Hopefully we're looking at a Saka that is fit and firing next season. I think the problem lies on the other side, though, on the left. I mean, Martinelli has flattered to deceive at times. We know he's a very good player, but he's not at the best of seasons. And also with the midfield, I mean, there's a lot of talk that Partey might not be here next season, so that will need to be addressed.
So defensive midfield after the wing?
Yeah, but I personally would be inclined to offer Partey an extension to his contract. Whether that will happen or not, though, I'm not so sure. But if he does go, then obviously we're going to need to fill that position.
Any other positions? So you've got striker, followed by winger, followed by defensive midfielder.
The defence I'm happy with.
Yeah.
Conceded least amount of goals in the Premiership this
I imagine
season.
backup goalkeeper you're thinking as well.
Yeah, I guess so.
Neto's gonna go.
Yeah.
So there's 4 positions there for Laurie. Striker, winger, defensive midfielder, backup goalkeeper. Turkish, you were next. How does that compare to your list? What would you add? What's the order for you?
Striker,
left winger,
striker,
another striker,
10 or 8.
Number 10
or 8.
/8,
6 and left back.
Defensive midfielder.
What's that, 7? And a left back.
And a backup goalkeeper.
Yeah, that 8.
So that's 7. That's 7.
Is that 7? Oh.
So Turkish gone for a striker, a left winger, another striker, a 10/8, a defensive midfielder, a left back, and a backup keeper. My list isn't even that different. But Robbie, what would yours be?
What, priority-wise?
Yeah,
striker.
Yeah.
100% striker. Left wing. A second striker.
So another striker
Somebody
as well.
like,
So you both agree on that.
When I say second striker, I mean like it doesn't have to be out and out, but just like a goal scoring striker, stroke 10, like a Mateus Cunha, that type of player. and another attacking midfielder.
Okay. Nothing in defence.
And a goalkeeper.
Backup
And a goalkeeper. Do you know the thing is, right, I was thinking about this the other day, and I'd be like, I know this ain't going to happen, but I'd be going to Thomas Partey and Jorginho and saying, just give me one more season. Give me one more season, so I wouldn't necessarily need to bring in a Zubimendi. I know it's not going to happen. And my money would be going on attack. Yeah. Defence is all right. I don't know, how many more left-backs you want? You said a left-back.
Yeah, we ain't going to have any come next season.
We've got Lewis Skelly, we've got Calafiori.
Yeah, but an out one. It'd be nice to have one of those, like a left one that goes straight down the.
Those two are good for me. Those two are good. I've been prioritised.
Calafiori at left back has failed to really impress.
Yeah, but it's his first season. For me, I will be going all out and trying to sort out that attack. That attack needs sorting.
And it has to be borne in mind that with that attack, that's not going to be cheap. I mean, that's going to use up a considerable
that's what I'm
amount
saying. Like,
in the budget.
I'm not saying this will happen, but I would have just say pass. Don't need Zubimendi. Keep those two experienced defensive midfielders, and we got Rice, and then everything's on the attack. A striker, left winger, and a second striker. As I said, either a second striker and another attacking midfielder. I think a lot of money's been. There's two positions where the money's been saved by our youngsters, like Lewis Skelly or left back, right, and the right side. We always thought we wanted a backup for Saka, but we've got Ethan Nwaneri there now. But the other, so they're saving money on those sides.
Yeah.
So the money has to go into the rest of that attack. Build out something unbelievable. I want teams to face Arsenal and be scared of our attack. Scared.
So I agree. We've all gone for the striker thing. Everyone's got a striker, and you actually, all three of you have a left winger as number 2. I have an attacking midfielder as number 2. I actually have a striker, then an attacking midfielder, then a defensive midfielder, and then a left winger. Because the way I look at this squad is, I'm looking at all the players that have delivered over the last year or two, but then I'm looking at where the depth actually is. And for me, next season, because I think Partey and Jorginho go, well, let's talk about the striker. We all agree we need one. Attacking midfield, I think all the onus is on Ødegaard. He's expected to do everything, every ounce of creativity, unless it's Saka out on the touchline. I'm talking from midfield, it all has to come from Martin Ødegaard. So I think we need to add something else there, and then Ødegaard could be the 8 that we've talked about, or at least he could maybe play with 2 10s. I think that's something Arteta wanted to do before. With Jorginho and Partey going, I think we're desperate for a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
And I think Zubimendi, I can see why they want to do that deal, because those two have played a lot of significant minutes over the last 2 years, especially Partey this season, Jorginho last year. Now, the reason I've left winger all the way down there, if you'd asked me last season, I'd have had it right up there, but I think Nwaneri has emerged as a winger we can use in the front line, so there's some depth out wide that I think we need. I think he could even start on the left or the right at times. And
he is left-footed.
Yeah, he's left-footed, and when I say on the right, I mean Saka would obviously be rotated a bit. I also think, call me crazy, but I also think Martinelli and Trossard's levels would go up with a proper 9 and another creative player with them. I do think they're the kind of players I could see them getting better for having better players around them. Whereas there are other players in the team that I think fundamentally you can do whatever you want. Ultimately, not a lot is going to change. That's why I have the left winger slightly lower down, and we all agree on the backup goalkeeper. Why have you guys not got the attacking midfield as high up? I mean, do you guys just think Ødegaard's enough? Because that's
I said attacking midfield or an attacking.
But he's 4th on your list.
Yeah, because
Laurie hasn't even got one, and he's 4th on Turkish's list.
But you know what?
I know we all want one, but I'm talking priorities.
I'll explain my rationale beyond that, because as I've said, for me, the striker is of the paramount importance, and I do think that if you get a striker, say of the quality of Isak, which is my preferred option, the way that guy plays, I mean, he can revolve the team around him to a large degree. So I would slip on that and spend on the striker, because I think that is going to disproportionate amount of your budget.
So for you, it's more about resource allocation and getting that. Okay,
but then in my one, I'm saying someone like a second striker stroke attacking from midfielder like a Mateus Cunha.
Because what you mean by second striker, you don't mean like just another 9. You mean someone who plays.
Yeah, someone who can like drop in there and get forward. Cunha for me would be perfect for Arsenal. Like, I mean, does that player have to be you know, I mean, I know a lot of people say about this super creative player. Who's got that now? Even in the Premier League, when I look around it, who's got that super creative player in the middle? It's like teams are sort of moving away from that now. Even, I think De Bruyne is one, but obviously he's not the De Bruyne. But Liverpool ain't got that. We ain't really got that.
But they do have players. Like what Liverpool
Newcastle
for me
ain't got that.
What Liverpool for me have is a better balance of players who could play that pass. So they don't have an out and out. You're right, they don't have an out and out 10, but Szoboszlai, Jones, McAllister, Gravenberch can all pick a pass. And
That's
all
right.
do something
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying like Acuna, because he can pick a pass as well. So if you had like your out and out striker and Acuna, say, and you got Odegaard,
and
you know, and the other thing, you know, I know you're getting down to the bones of the players of the thing. I want a big squad as well.
Yeah.
Look at the injuries and how we paid this little small squad thing. We've paid the price this season.
The
for
manager's
having
on
a
the
small
record,
squad.
though, was saying that he prefers...
Well, he got it wrong, didn't he?
I don't think he stands by that anymore. The way he
got it
in
wrong.
January, I think he kept saying, we've got one of the smallest squads.
He got it wrong. The small squad thing didn't work, did it? It absolutely flopped this season.
Cost us.
When you look at a team like Brighton, who's got the biggest squad in the Premier League, they've had some of the most injuries in the Premier League, but they're still able to put out a strong team week in, week out, because they've got such a strong squad.
Turkish, let me ask you about the two strikers you have on your list. Why is it not enough to say get an Isak, a Gyökeres, a Sesko, and then have Havertz there too, and then maybe Trossard could play up front? You've got a left winger on your list too. Would a striker and a left winger not do it for you?
Because then you're one injury away from being Havertz Jesus again.
I know, but I mean, you can't prepare for like every, you know.
Well, we prepared for the left back scenario in the way I'd like to prepare for the striker scenario. You know, because I know people already are typing he's so unrealistic. We fucking done the same for left backs and goalkeepers.
I think it's a little different.
Do the same. Nah,
I think it's a little different.
Bro, how many times? How is it different? Name me another club. No, don't tell me why. Name me another club that you've seen start at left back and have 3 left backs on the bench.
No, I get it. We've overdone.
That's dead. Like what?
We've overdone.
How about we have 3 strikers on the bench? Give me that.
Okay, but I think the left back thing, it's more because you've got. We signed Calafiori, Lewis Skelly can play there. Zinchenko was 2 years ago, we moved on from him. But these are all
Jesus was 2 years ago, we moved on from him. 3 years ago, we moved on from him.
For sure, but
Havertz is 2 years ago, we should look
how much is it going to cost you to get 2 strikers?
By the way,
Jonathan
Jonathan David's free. So I know what I'm going with my one.
Fair enough.
That top 3, let's say Gyökeres, Nico Williams and Jonathan David, that's 130 million. You've got 2 strikers and a winger. That's nice, isn't it?
In the cash, right?
Say it again.
Gyökeres, Nico Williams and Jonathan David.
He's 130 million.
That's 130 million. Yeah. 50, 80, free. Jonathan David on 30k at Lille. We wanted to pay him more than 100k.
I think the thing you have to always think though is, will Jonathan David, who's run his contract down, right? Will he want to play second fiddle to the next club he goes to, or does he want to he starts every week at Lille? Wherever he goes to, he's going to probably want to start every week. He's not going to want to come in and be the backup striker, is he?
And that was going to be my point about the strikers, why it's a different
No,
it's
but
a
David
different
should
situation.
know himself, though. He's not going to go start for any big club in Europe. Let's be real here.
See, he might, though.
You're really selling it to him.
No, I'm being real, though. He's a good he's a good striker. He's got the physical attributes, I think, to do okay over here. I'm talking as a backup for free, a cheap option.
Think about it, James, right? No striker worth his salt, especially with the World Cup year, which we'll be into next year, is going to want to come to Arsenal and be on the bench. If you're a really good striker.
If you play for Canada, you don't care because they ain't got options.
I mean, and if you think about it, he could end up being third striker.
I mean, you saw what happened with Alvarez at City, yeah?
Yeah, but that's different. Alvarez.
No, but I'm saying, I'm talking about if you're a top quality striker, which is presumably what you want to come to Arsenal. I'm saying to you, right, that I doubt very much whether that person is going to, you've signed your main striker and you bring in somebody who's going to be the designated number 2. I don't think that's going to work.
And he might be number 3 because he's still got Havertz.
Yeah, you fight for it. You're at Arsenal.
Yeah, but if you're coming to the club knowing that you're...
So what big club gets him then and starts him, Laurie?
I'm saying that's why you need to focus your energies on bringing in your main man.
No,
I mean, I like
to your main man. You're done.
I like what he's suggesting there. I love that. It's just, would the player be up for it?
But that's what I'm saying.
But if the player was up for it, to me, Arsenal should do something like that, because then you've got a top quality. You got 2 quality strikers. When's the last time we had that?
And you've still got Havertz, who's a different option.
I think Havertz will be your option if you bring in the likes of an Isak. I know I keep saying Isak because that's my go-to guy, but any like your top guy, bringing in another one underneath him, straight away he's thinking, how many minutes am I going to play? Well, I'm just going to play Carabao Cup games and Cup games. Especially, like I said,
Well,
you've got a World
the,
Cup year coming up as well.
The one thing I'd say, though, to that is that if we're to be, you know, I'm hearing what you're saying, but if we're going to operate like a big club, because they don't ask them questions when they're going to Real Madrid, do they? And they don't ask them questions when they're going to Barcelona or Bayern. They're saying, boy, I'm going to fight for my place. Blah, blah.
Who's the runner?
So why?
Mbappe
Huh?
at Madrid.
Well, look at the attacking. You've got Endrick there. You've got Arda Güler. These guys can't even get a game. You've got Rodrigo can't get a game.
Starts up
right? Yeah, I mean, look at the attacking. They got bare attackers there. Vinicius is not even guaranteed. None of them are guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, I think the only one who's really guaranteed a starting spot there is Mbappe. And then you've got all these other players who walk into any other team, not guaranteed a starting spot. So, to me, if you're going to operate like, yeah, I mean, you got. I mean, if it was possible, I'd be right up for that. Jonathan David and one of those names, his name's there. Then all of a sudden, you're starting to put together that scary attack I'm talking about.
All right, what about the defensive midfield position? Because in January, we were all desperate for a striker. This news comes out that Arsenal are set to sign Martin Zubimendi. And I don't think we could enjoy it really the way we wanted to because of the news that was coming out. But this is very talented defensive midfielder coming in. What do we think? Because it kind of cements Rice's future as a box-to-box midfielder. I think this dream of having sort of two attacking 8s or 2 10s is unlikely. But
that tells me that Partey is possibly surplus to requirements.
Yeah, I think Partey and Jorginho go. I think it's 25th of March at the time of recording. I think we'd have known more by this point. Turkish, your thoughts on the Zubimendi deal as we're kind of approaching the summer? It's looking like it is going to happen at the time of recording. That's what we're sort of hearing.
Yeah, what did I do? What was my 4th and 5th? It was
you went striker, left winger, striker, 10/8, and then defensive midfielder. So there's 4 other positions you think we need to address before the defensive midfielder.
So in an ideal world, this is how my midfield would be going into next season. Yeah, would have a new 10 and Odegaard being backup for that 10. Would have Odegaard as the 8. And Marino being back up for that 8. And would have Rice as the 6 and bring in another type of 6. It could be a Zubimendi, who is another type, who is a bit more acute with his progression of the ball, passing between the lines, so on. So, that's how I'd look at it. I'd invest more of it into the number 10, move Odegaard to the 8, but that's not going to happen.
I agree with that, by the way. That's how I would like it to be. I would like it to be, Rice as a 6, but sometimes you play them together, sometimes he plays on his own, sometimes you even pull Rice out because he plays so much football. Yeah,
but it's highly unlikely Odegaard moves from the 10, so I'd still move Rice to the 6, and I'd be looking to get a more mobile 8, a more attacking orientated 8.
So you let Marino go then?
No, Marino's still back up to the 8, or just plays wherever.
Plays every now and again.
Like squad, isn't it? It's like he's a squad player. He had a massive chance to cement his place this season. Unfortunate start, but he had a chance to cement, and anytime he played in that 3, we all reverted back to Rice, Partey, Odegaard on the starting 11s and predicted 11s, and you've become a squad player now.
What do you guys think of Zubimendi in this potential deal?
Listen, if those 2 go, which is looking like it is in Partey and Jorginho, then it makes sense. I'd have liked to have kept one of them.
I'd have liked to have kept Partey.
Right, they're very, very experienced players. Very experienced, right? To let them both go, I think we should have kept one of them. That experience goes a long way. And even like a player like Jorginho, I think every time he's come in this season, he's done all right. He's done well. He hasn't really. I think there was the PSV game, where that's the only time I've really seen him this season where I thought he's had a poor game in me. But every time he's come in, he's done all right. So I'm surprised they're letting both of those go. Again, I mean, I'm thinking of savings here, where you can save some money and invest that up top, because to me, that's where I want to see the funding go. We don't really need defenders. We don't. necessarily need. Yeah, I think one at least. Obviously, if those two go, you got to get a defensive midfielder. Yeah, I get it. Right, and you need an attacking, but up front, build that scary attack. People fear the defence. They know the defence is good. They know it's solid. They know, we've seen videos of current players saying, "Boy, playing against Arsenal's long, man. They keep hold of the ball. They defend well." But up front, apart from Saka, teams don't really fear Arsenal. They feel they can contain them. They can deal with them. It's not that they're disrespecting Arsenal's. They know they've got threats there. But if you bring in, look at as we got in the last video, we're so fearful about the Real Madrid attack. We didn't even talk about their defence or really much about their midfield. We're all focused on that because that attack is scary.
Yeah.
I want Arsenal to build a scary attack. Mm-hmm. People are scared of City's attack because Haaland, Mamouche now. You know what I mean? You're scared of Liverpool, Salah, Jota, Gakpo. But then you come to Arsenal, you're like, yeah, Saka. Got to put 2 on him, but do you really think that about the other players? And that's what I want. I want next season, especially after what they did in January. They must build something scary up front. I need to be going away games and seeing fans saying, "Oh my God, we're coming up against such and such." And that's why your suggestion with one premium striker and a Jonathan David, that appeals to me, even though, we know it's hard to do. But when are we going to start doing it? When are we going to start buying strikers anyway? Full stop.
I don't think that's out of this world. It's not a release clause. Nico Williams is a release clause. Jonathan David's free. And I'll even add Arda Güler.
There you go.
I don't know for sure. I don't think he's going to leave, but there's an option for a loan there.
I think he'll leave.
Well, I think he's still content in trying to fight for his space. He's building a house or he's buying a house in Madrid. But I think a loan option is there.
Barely played, has he? Like all season, despite all the things they've said about him, he's barely played.
If not him, Brahim Diaz, I think Real have shown that they don't mind selling at a good price for their surplus. He's also both-footed and attacking player, 25 years of age.
Yep.
So we can be shrewd. Yeah. We could get David free, Güler loan with no option, 1 year, comes in, or Brahim Diaz 35 mil because, Real need to. There's a lot of good business we can do on top of the creme de la creme we need, which is ideally an Isak, if not a Gyökeres, a Nico Williams on the left. Nah, I'm not on Sesko, I'm not really too many excuses come with Sesko. Might be the one in 2-3 years, but he's not the one now, in my opinion. Samu's the same thing, Ajahawa, Ekatike. These men are good young strikers, but don't bring them in to lead the line to win us a title. It's not the one.
Do you know the one last season, and I still would have him, if we couldn't get your Isaks, Osimhen. I still look what the guy's doing again in Turkey. Look at his goal scoring record again. People talk about he missed his chances, but look at the guy's goal scoring record again in Turkish football. Look what he did in Italy. Look what he did in France. He'll be available this summer. I think Arsenal should be taking a look at him as well.
Yeah, I'll put him 3rd, 4th on the list. There's only a handful I'd take as a striker to lead the line. It's Isak, Gyökeres, and Osimhen or Martinez, if I'm honest. Just one of them 4. Martinez, Lautaro, but that's just because we've got linked with Berta and him. So
fair enough. I want to ask you guys, as well as we're building these lists, because in a minute I'm going to ask you all what are the non-negotiables in terms of the positions and the players we need to address. But first I want to ask about Lewis Skelly and Nwaneri's part to play in all this, because I always feel that, yes, you've got players who can play lots of different positions. Nwaneri can play right 8, left 8. In the right wing, he can play up front. Nwaneri can play... Lewis Skelly can play left back, he can play 6, 8. So they can cover a lot of positions. Where do you see them playing most of their football next season? And what's the next stage of their development? Where are they largely going to be long term for Arsenal? Starting with Lewis Skelly, Robbie.
Left back.
You think he's a left back for us?
Yeah, I think he's established himself now as a left back. He's playing for England as a left back. I think he looks comfortable at left back. I think he's going to get better. Look at the position where he inverted and the position he took up for that goal he scored against England the other night. I think this guy's really learning the position. So, to me, left back definitely for him. And for Nwaneri, I think his best position, I feel, is on that right-hand side. I think he's been excellent there. I think he'd be a superb backup for Saka. then you can also use him to back up Odegaard as well. So, and those two players are going to save. And again, that saving needs to be spent on your strikers, because those two players are going to save Mikel Arteta a bag of money. Because remember, we needed a right-sided. We went and got a loan. So that money's there because we got a loan Sterling. We were looking at things. We got a loan for Sterling. He'll go back, right? And then the left back, Tierney's going. Zinchenko's going to go. They're going to have money there, but you ain't got to buy no one because you got Lewis Skelly. So that money needs to be reinvested into the striking and attacking positions.
Yeah. Okay. Right winger.
We're watching them this summer.
Not right winger. Sorry.
Them.
Ethan Nwaneri, long-term future. So you got on left back for Lewis Skelly and Nwaneri.
Right wing for me.
Yeah. Laurie, for you.
Yeah, I mean, Miles Lewis Skelly left back in the initial period, but I do see long term, I do see him moving into midfield. You can see elements of that in his game already. He naturally gravitates towards that. So yeah, I do see that. With Nwaneri, right principally, but I think left, as I said earlier, he's left-footed. So, you know, of course he can play left wing.
Do you think, when you say moving into midfield, what do you think Arteta will move? Because I don't.
I think naturally after we're presuming that he'll stay at Arsenal for a few years. I think initially he'll be the left back period, but I can see a time. I mean, he's still only 18. I can see a time where he will naturally gravitate.
Even if he's established himself in the England team, say he established himself as next year's a World Cup year. Would you want to be moving around, starting to become some little utility guy when you're playing in that?
No, it's not a utility guy. I mean, he's a natural midfielder, right? He's playing left back at the moment. What I'm saying is, as he gets older and more mature, and his body fills out, I suspect that he'll gravitate towards his natural position, which is left side of midfield.
I don't know.
I think, just quickly, what I want is Nwaneri to get minutes on the right and to see Lewis Skelly more in midfield. I think Arteta will play Lewis Skelly as a left back more next season.
I said you'll start. Yeah, that's.
I think he's going to use Nwaneri more in the midfield three. To be honest, I actually think he'll use him in Odegaard's position, maybe left 8, and on the right when Saka's back. I think we'll barely see Nwaneri there next season, which would be a shame. But that's what I'd like to see more of, so that you can rotate the minutes a bit more, and Saka doesn't have to play every minute of every game. Turkish, the future for those two of you.
With Rob left back and right wing.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
I want to see more Nwaneri into 10, but I'm also, I also want people to understand he still needs some protection. Yeah, it's not about seeing him start 30 games for us next season. It's about still, now back up Saka next season. Maybe test the waters in the 10. Find your position, because he can do both. I'm completely against what you said, left wing, by the way. Completely against that. I
don't love it. I just think he could.
I just don't like that, because he's so prone to cutting in, and it seems like that's what he builds.
Oh, it's a complete waste.
Yeah,
but I still think he'd probably do a better job than most others.
And then that's us getting. I get that. That's also us getting getting cheap again.
Yeah.
I mean, where I want us to go and get the proper. But I mean, that's how I'm looking at this summer. After January, to me, they need to be like. I don't want to see no.
Yeah.
We could put him over. Perhaps we could play him. I don't want to see none of that.
I put in my WhatsApp group today, someone asked me literally the list of, and then another Arsenal fan, he's my boy, big him up. I'm going to show him this clip, by the way. He goes, "We got to be wary of Max Dowman," and that's my thing. Like, people just
I've heard that.
15.
Don't give him 2032. Get back to me with Max Dowman.
Give us 5 years. Young for us to even be thinking.
Yeah, let's not do this. Yeah, this is not a creche. We need to win stuff, and Saliba ain't waiting for Max Dowman. Saka ain't waiting around for Max Dowman. I don't know how many of us can wait around for Max Dowman. So, yeah, that needs to stop. I mean that for Nwaneri, let alone a Dowman who's still even years away from getting the level that Nwaneri's reached. So let's protect them. They're great assets. Lewis Skelly is the one that really... He's grabbed, that position by the scruff of the neck, and as young as he is, he deserves that position. Whereas with Nwaneri, he's shown brilliance. He's shown he's going to be a quality player, but we've already got a star in that position, so he can fly under his wing.
All right, and the final thing is simple: yes or no. I'm going to go through the list that you guys gave me, and you're just going to say yes. Is it a non-negotiable position or no? And what I mean by that is, essentially, is it a shocker if Arsenal don't address this position for you? So, Rob, you're going through your list first. Striker, non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
Right, yes. Left winger.
Non-negotiable.
Second striker.
Non-negotiable.
Oh my word. Attacking midfielder.
Non-negotiable.
And backup goalkeeper.
No, he's negotiable. To me, they said Heinz done brilliantly over in Spain. Bring him back. Save money again. Why? Don't go and spend 20 million on the thing from, I forgot his name now, from Espanyol. Keep that, you know what I mean? Bring back Heinz. He's doing well in the same league.
So we've got it on record that you're not happy if Arsenal don't sign a striker, a second striker, a left winger, and an attacking midfielder, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. Laurie, we'll remember that for Transfer Daily come the summer. Laurie, striker, is it non-negotiable?
Non-negotiable.
Left winger?
Non-negotiable.
Defensive midfielder?
It's negotiable.
Okay, and a backup goalkeeper?
Yeah, I agree with Robbie. We've got options.
Okay, cool. Turkish, striker?
Non-negotiable.
Left winger?
Non-negotiable.
Another striker? Is it all non-negotiable? So that's
left
a 10.
Could be negotiable.
A defensive midfielder, left back, you chill, and then get a goalkeeper.
I don't understand why. Listen, we go spend 30 million in a keeper and we don't address one of them other positions and we don't win. I'm going to be fuming. We got Setford. Apparently, he's a sick young keeper. He plays for England. He's 19. It's not like he's 15. He's 19. Neto played one game this last season. So if there's an opportunity, why not give it to the 19-year-old you took off Ajax last year? I don't want to see no keepers coming. Raya, Setford, I'm happy, and I forgot about Hine. Bring him back as well if the age is such a concern. But I think a 19-year-old, Carabao Cup, what's there to be scared of, you know? So I'm happy with our keeper options the more I think about it. So no keeper.
All right. Striker's non-negotiable for me. Attacking midfielder is non-negotiable for me. Defensive midfielder is non-negotiable for me. I'm going to say something about the left winger because you've all made it non-negotiable. For me, if that striker were Isak and that attacking midfielder were Wirtz, and yes, I'm dreaming, I'm playing Football Manager, but I'm just saying, if we got that calibre in those two positions, I could live without getting a left winger because I do think Marte and Trossard could give us something. But if we've sort of gone for a Sesko for 55, 60 million in the striker position, the left winger becomes absolutely non-negotiable because we need to add proven quality. So for me, it depends on what those positions are.
Do you think Trossard will be there next season?
I think he could be. Probably not. But like, if a 10 million offer comes in, I wouldn't do it. I'd rather keep him in the squad. If a 30 million pound offer comes in, then I would do it. So that's kind of where I'm with left winger. Backup keeper, I'm the same. Setford's your number 3, and Hine, he looked good in pre-season, let alone on loan. So I wouldn't waste money on that position. But if Hine is going, then you have to do something because you can't just have 2. So then it does become non-negotiable. So it kind of depends on the positions. All right, that's the to-do list, Berta. We've helped you. We've actually had the initial meeting for you. You don't need to bother sitting with Richard Garlick and Mikel Arteta and everyone else. We've just done the work for you. So go pick up those players. Very simple.
Richard Garlick's going to sit and tell him how much money he's got then. Start going.
Yeah, what does our list look like when we hear the budget? So it's 50 million plus whatever you get in sales. Oh, all right. Well, the non-negotiables are Sesko. That's it. Bring in Sesko. Big thanks for tuning in, everyone. We talked about Real Madrid, how we can stop them, what chance we have of beating them in the, part 1 of this little mini-series that we've done. Go check out Forever Arsenal as well if you haven't yet, because we did a Emirates era, I wouldn't call it all-time 11, it was us picking the best 11s we could in a draft system. So essentially, when I picked Bukayo Saka, no one else could. So we've ended up with some very interesting teams. Lee's winning the midfield battle. No one can compete with Turkish attack. I got some balance. I'd entertain the most. And Jordan's come last on every voting poll I've seen.
And he had first pick.
Across 3 platforms. And he ended up with Henry. So a little spoiler there. So go cast your votes on X and go check out Forever Arsenal if you haven't yet to see how we picked them and how we all managed to annoy each other a lot with some of our picks. Big thanks to Rory. Big thanks to Laurie. Big thanks to Turkish. Subscribe to AFTV and we'll see you all very soon.